The Celtics are insane. The Boston Celtics were locked in last night. They came out at TD Garden and took care of business, beating the Los Angeles Lakers 111-101. That win pushed their record to 46-18 on the season, and it was their fourth straight victory. They built a huge lead early in the third quarter, going up by 22 points in just 7 minutes. Los Angeles tried to claw back late, cutting it to single digits, but Boston didn't flinch. They held firm down the stretch, with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown scoring the team's final 12 points to put the game away. The Celtics were missing KP for the 5th straight game, but that didn't slow them down. Al Horford stepped into the starting lineup again and made an impact on both ends of the floor. Jrue Holiday returned after missing 4 games, giving them a steady presence, even if his numbers weren't huge. Despite being shorthanded, Boston took control in the third quarter and never let go. Los Angeles was without Jackson Hayes and Rui, and they also lost LeBron James in the fourth quarter due to a groin injury. Even with Luka dropping 34 points and James adding 22 before exiting, the Lakers just couldn't keep up. Boston's defense really stood out. They forced turnover, controlled the glass, and got contributions across the board. The team's starters combined for 102 of their 111 total points, and their effort on the boards and defense was relentless all game long. Now let's look at the numbers behind that win. Jason Tatum led the way with an incredible stat line. He scored 40 points, grabbed 12 rebounds, and handed out 8 assists. He also added 2 steals and a block. Tatum shot 12 for 28 from the field, knocked down 6 3-pointers on 16 attempts, and went 10 for 12 from the free throw line. His plus 12 rating showed how much of an impact he made when he was on the court. Jaylen Brown was just as effective. He put up 31 points while grabbing 6 rebounds. He also chipped in 2 assists and picked off 3 steals on the defense end. Brown shot 13 for 25 from the field, 3 for 6 from 3-point range, and 2 for 4 from the line. He finished the game with a plus 11. Al Horford had a strong night filling in for KP. He scored 14 points, pulled down 9 rebounds, and dished out 4 assists. Horford was active on defense too, collecting 3 steals and blocking 1 shot. He shot 5 for 9 from the field, made 1 of his 3 3-point attempts, and was 3 for 4 from the line. His plus 16 rating was the highest on the team, showing his importance on both ends. Jrue Holiday didn't put up big scoring numbers, but he contributed in other areas. He scored 7 points, hauled in 5 rebounds, and had 1 assist. 4 of those boards were on the offensive glass, giving Boston extra possessions. Holiday shot 3 for 6 from the floor, made 1 of his 3 attempts from deep, and didn't take any free throws. He ended the night with a plus 9. Derek White had himself a solid, all-around game. He finished with 10 points, 5 rebounds, and 7 assists. White also added 1 steal and 1 block on defense. He shot 3 for 7 from the field, 1 for 5 from 3, and hit all 3 of his free throws. His plus 17 was the highest among the starters, highlighting his impact. As a group, Boston's starters were locked in. They scored 102 of the team's 111 points. They grabbed 37 total rebounds, with Tatum leading the way at 12 and Horford adding 9. They combined for 22 assists, led by Tatum with 8 and White with 7. On defense, they totaled 9 steals and 3 blocks. By the way, if you guys enjoy these deep dives, I'll be posting every day during the season. I genuinely appreciate if you could subscribe. Thanks. Anyways, Boston. From a shooting standpoint, Boston was consistent. Tatum and Brown did most of the scoring, but Horford, White, and Holiday made their shots count. Tatum's 6 made 3-pointers, and Brown's 3 made 3s gave them enough from deep to spread the floor. The starters also made 18 out of 23 free throws, with Tatum's 10 for 12 leading the way. Even without KP, they controlled the paint. Horford's presence down low, along with Tatum's rebounding, helped keep Los Angeles from dominating inside. On the perimeter, White and Holiday were strong defenders, and Brown chipped in with his steals to disrupt the Lakers' rhythm. Overall, Boston's defense clamped down when it mattered. They forced turnover, protected the rim, and didn't give up easy looks. Los Angeles had a strong night from Luka and LeBron James, but after James left with his injury, the Lakers couldn't close the gap. Boston's ability to keep them at bay was a big reason they came out with the win. This win also evened the season series between these two rivals at 1 game each. They won't meet again this season unless it's in the NBA Final. If that happens, and both teams stay healthy, it could be another battle worth watching. For now, Boston's win over Los Angeles was another reminder of how good they can be, even when they're not at full strength. They got contributions from everyone in the starting lineup, stayed strong on defense, and executed when it mattered most. That's 4 wins in a row, and they're showing no signs of slowing down. But for the Celtics on the season, I want to talk about how good the players have been individually this season, because that's what it really comes down to. And of course, we got to start with Tatum. Jason Tatum has been on another level this season. The numbers back it up in every way possible. Since the All-Star break, he's averaging 27.9 points, 9.9 rebounds, and 7.4 assists per game. That's production that puts him among the top players in the entire league, and it's not just about the scoring. He's impacting the game in every category. One of the craziest stats is that Jason Tatum has the most wins by any player in the NBA since he joined the league. No one else has been on the winning side as much as he has. That says a lot about his consistency, his availability, and his leadership on the court. Winning follows him, and this season has been no different. When it comes to efficiency, Tatum has been a force. His field goal percentage on drives is 56.9%. That ranks him 5th in the entire NBA. The only players ahead of him are Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, Tyrese Halliburton, and SGA. Tatum has been finishing at a high rate, and with that volume, it's impressive to see him so efficient while getting downhill. He's also been getting to the line in clutch moments. Tatum has drawn 24 fouls in the clutch this season. That's tied for 6th most in the league. The only players with more are Trae Young, Alperen Sengun, Jalen Brunson, Nikola Jokic, and Tyrese Maxey. Drawing contact and making plays when the game is on the line has been a big part of his growth. He's not shying away from big moments. On top of that, his offensive rating is 120.3, and his defensive rating is 110.9. That gives him a net rating of plus 9.3. That's elite. Tatum is impacting the game on both sides of the ball. His presence is creating a positive margin for his team. Compared to the rest of the league, his net rating puts him in rare company. 75% of Tatum's games this season have ended with a positive plus-minus. That means 3 out of every 4 games. Boston is outscoring teams while he's on the floor. His on-off numbers are strong too. The Celtics are plus 6.1 points better when he's on the court versus when he's off. That's better than 93% of the league. His impact is clear when you look at how much the team benefits from having him out there. His ball handling has taken a step forward this season. Using a 3-step ranking metric, Tatum ranks higher than 93% of players in ball handling ability. He's taking on more responsibility with the ball in his hand, and it's paying off. He's averaging 5.8 assists per game while keeping his turnovers to 2.9 per game. His assist percentage is 25.85%, meaning he's assisting more than a quarter of his teammates' made field goals while he's on the floor. Tatum is assisting on 15.2 points per game, which puts him ahead of 60% of the league, and he's keeping his turnover percentage low at 9.12%. That means he's only turning the ball over about 9 times every 100 actions that conclude a play. For a guy with the ball in his hands as much as he has it, that's extremely efficient. On the defensive end, Tatum's numbers are just as good. He's ranked higher than 96% of players in mixed team defense. That metric measures how much he prevents opponents from scoring as a team. Along with his individual defense, he's averaging 1.1 steals per game and half a block per game. On the boards, he's pulling down 8.2 defensive rebounds a night. His team defensive efficiency sits at 110.9, which matches his personal defensive rating. Tatum's usage rate is 30.9%. That shows how involved he is in Boston's offense. 30% of the Celtics' offensive plays, and with Tatum taking a shot, getting to the free throw line, handing out an assist, or committing a turnover. His actions per game break down to 20.3 field goal attempts, 6.3 free throw attempts, 5.8 assists, and 2.9 turnovers. He's playing 74.4 possessions per game, which highlights how much he's on the floor and taking part in everything the Celtics do. The balance in his game has been impressive. He's scoring nearly 28 points a night, but he's also rebounding at a high level. His 9.9 rebounds per game since the All-Star break is a huge number for a wing player. On top of that, adding 7.4 assists shows how much he's creating for others. Efficiency, production, and impact are the words that describe Tatum's season. His field goal percentage on drives puts him with some of the best scorers in the league. His clutch, foul drawing ranks show he's not backing down in close games. His assist rate and ball handling rankings reflect his growth as a playmaker, and his defensive metrics prove he's not a one-way player. Tatum's net rating of plus 9.3 is a perfect summary of what he's doing this year. Boston is outscoring teams by nearly 10 points per 100 possessions when he's on the court. That's the difference between winning and losing in this league. His presence lifts the entire team on both ends. The fact that Tatum leads the league in total wins since he entered the NBA is no accident. He's durable, he's consistent, and he's always producing. His 75% positive plus-minus plus-minus rate, his on-off difference of plus 6.1, and his usage rate all point to the same conclusion. Jason Tatum has been one of the best players in basketball this season, and he's doing it with a complete game. Whether it's scoring, passing, rebounding, defense, or leadership, Tatum is checking every box. And as Boston keeps stacking wins, his numbers are only making his case stronger. He's been one of the most reliable stars in the league, and his production since the All-Star break has been elite. From his shooting efficiency to his defensive effort, Tatum's season has been everything the Celtics could have asked for. But then we can do the same thing for Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown has been playing at an elite level all season long, and last night was just another example of how important he is to Boston's success. He was all over Luka on defense, making life difficult for one of the league's best scorers. Luka still put up points, but Brown's pressure and intensity on the perimeter were exactly what Boston needed to slow Los Angeles down. It's been that kind of season for Brown. He's embraced the toughest assignments on defense while maintaining a huge role on offense. His defensive metrics this season back that up. Brown ranks higher than 94% of players in mixed team defense. That stat measures how much he prevents opponents from scoring, both as an individual defender and as part of the team. He's averaging 1.2 steals per game, adding 0.3 blocks, and grabbing 4.6 defensive rebounds a night. His team defensive efficiency sits at 112.8. Brown's effort on that end has been relentless, and it's made a big difference in Boston's ability to get stops. Offensively, he's been just as impressive. His usage rate is 29%. That means nearly 30% of Boston's offensive plays, and with Brown taking a shot, going to the free throw line, handing out an assist, or committing a turnover, he's averaging 18.7 field goal attempts per game, along with 5.3 free throw attempts. He's handing out 4.8 assists per game, which shows how much he's grown as a playmaker, and he's limiting his turnovers to just 2.7 per game. Brown's handling a huge workload and doing it efficiently. Jaylen Brown's offensive rating this season is 121.1, while his defensive rating is 112.8. That gives him a net rating of plus 8.2. That's elite company. His presence on the floor creates a positive margin for Boston that stacks up with the best in the league. And his net rating reflects how impactful he's been on both ends. When you look at how often Boston is outscoring teams while he's on the floor, the numbers speak for themselves. 69.8% of his games this season have ended with a positive plus-minus. That means almost 70% of the time, Boston is winning the minutes when he's on the court. His on-off rating shows Boston is plus 3.3 points better when he's out there versus when he's off. That ranks him ahead of 83% of players in the NBA. He's making a difference every time he steps on the floor. One of the things that's made Brown so dangerous this season is his post-up game. He's been flat-out dominant in the post. He leads the entire league in and one frequency on post-ups at 7.6%. That's higher than anyone, including Kevin Durant, who ranks second at 6.7%. Brown's strength and footwork down low are giving defenders fits, and he's consistently finishing through contact. On top of that, he's scoring efficiently out of the post. Brown ranks 5th in points per possession on post-ups, averaging 1.14 points every time he gets a post-up opportunity. The only players ahead of him are Franz Wagner, KP, Joel Embiid, and Daniel Gafford. For a wing player to rank that high on post-up efficiency is rare. Brown's physicality and ability to finish have made him one of the best in the league in that area. And it's not just the scoring. Brown's mixed teamwork rating shows he ranks higher than 96% of players. That metric looks at how much his presence creates a positive margin for his team, and Brown has been delivering all season long. His net rating of plus 8.2 lines up perfectly with that. He's making the team better in nearly every aspect of the game. Brown's ball handling and playmaking have also taken the lead. He's averaging 4.8 assists per game while keeping his turnover percentage low. He's taking care of the ball and creating for others. His assist to turnover numbers are solid, especially considering how often he has the ball in his hands. His possession count is 72.2 per game, and he's making smart decisions with those opportunities. Defensively, Brown's been Boston's tone setter. His 1.2 steals per game highlight how active his hands have been, but it's the on-ball defense that really stands out. Last night's work on Luka was another example. He stayed disciplined, cut off driving lanes, and forced Luka into tougher shots. Brown's defensive versatility allows Boston to switch freely, and his strength makes him effective against bigger players in the post. That's been a huge advantage for the Celtics all year. Jaylen Brown's defensive rating of 112.8 may not jump off the page by itself, but when you pair it with his offense, it tells the story of a player making a major two-way impact. His defensive rebounding numbers are solid at 4.6 per game, and he's doing it while often guarding the opposing team's best perimeter player. This has been one of Brown's best seasons in terms of balance. He's scoring at a high level, creating for teammates, defending at an elite level, and leading by example. His offensive numbers are strong, his efficiency on post-ups is elite, and his ability to finish through contact makes him a problem for defenders. On defense, he's locking in and shutting down opposing stars. When you add it all up, Jaylen Brown has been one of the most complete wings in the NBA this season. His growth as a playmaker and defender has made a huge difference for Boston. And night after night, he's giving the Celtics exactly what they need on both ends of the court. But then I want to talk about Pritchard. Peyton Pritchard has been one of the most consistent and impactful bench players in the entire league this season. He's producing at a high level, shooting the ball with incredible efficiency, and making winning plays every time he steps on the court. The other day, against the Trail Blazers, he put on an absolute show. He scored 41 points, grabbed 10 rebounds, and handed out 5 assists. And he did it all while coming off the bench. Pritchard shot 14 for 20 from the field and hit 10 out of 16 three-point attempts. That kind of performance is rare, especially for someone not starting the game. But this season, Pritchard's been doing things very few bench players ever do. Right now, he's on pace to break the record for most three-pointers made off the bench in a single season. He's been one of the most dangerous shooters in the NBA, and his percentages prove it. Since the All-Star break, he's shooting 50% from three-point range. That's good for 4th best in the league, behind Tyrese Halliburton, Jamal Murray, and Derek White. Pritchard's shot has been automatic lately, and he's taking advantage of every open look. He's also been elite when it comes to catch and shoot threes. Pritchard ranks 3rd in catch and shoot three-point percentage at 46.2%. Whether he's spotting up or moving without the ball, Pritchard's ability to knock down shots makes him one of Boston's most valuable weapons off the bench. But Pritchard isn't just standing around waiting for shots. He's been hustling and doing the dirty work too. He's 6th in the entire NBA in offensive loose balls recovered, with 26 this season. The only players ahead of him are Alperen Sengun, Julius Randle, SGA, Josh Giddey, and Pascal Siakam. For a guard coming off the bench, that's an impressive number. It shows how much effort he's putting in to create extra possessions for Boston. Pritchard's scoring average this season is 14.3 points per game. That ranks him higher than 92% of players in the league. He's doing it efficiently too. His effective field goal percentage is 63.4%, which measures how well he's shooting when accounting for the added value of three-pointers. That's better than 92% of players. He's scoring 1.3 points per field goal attempt, with an average of 1.72 pointers made, 3.3 three-pointers made, and 10.5 field goal attempts per game. His true shooting percentage is even more impressive at 64.8%. That factors in field goals, three-pointers, and free throws, giving a complete picture of his scoring efficiency. Pritchard's true shooting puts him ahead of 91% of players in the league. He's averaging 14.3 points on just 10.5 shot attempts and 1.1 free throw attempts per game. That's elite efficiency, and it makes him one of the most productive scorers per possession on the team. Pritchard's offensive rating this season is 121.3, and his defensive rating is 112.2. That gives him a net rating of plus 9.2. His presence on the court is creating a positive margin for Boston, and his impact ranks higher than 86% of players in the league. He's getting it done on both ends and helping the Celtics control the game when he's out there. 58.7% of Pritchard's games have ended with a positive plus-minus. That means Boston has outscored opponents in nearly 60% of the minutes he's played. His on-off rating shows the Celtics are plus 2.2 points better with him on the court versus when he's off. That number ranks higher than 86% of players, which is impressive for someone coming off the bench and often playing alongside different lineups. Ball handling has also been a strength for Pritchard this year. His ball handling metric ranks him higher than 86% of players in the league. He's averaging 3.5 assists per game while keeping his turnovers to just 0.9 per game. His assist percentage is 18.22%, which shows how often he's setting up teammates for easy looks. On average, he's assisting on 8.6 points per game, which puts him ahead of 90% of players in his role. Turnovers are almost never a problem with Pritchard. His turnover percentage is just 6.08%. That means he's only turning the ball over 6 times per 100 actions that conclude a play, whether it's a shot attempt or a turnover. He's averaging 11 scoring attempts per game, and he's maximizing every opportunity. Pritchard has been steady and reliable all season. His production has been consistent, his shooting has been lights out, and his decision-making has been excellent. Whether it's hitting big threes, fighting for loose balls, or keeping the offense running smoothly, he's giving Boston exactly what they need off the bench. With his ability to score efficiently, make smart passes, and defend his position, Pritchard has carved out a huge role for himself on one of the best teams in the league. And as he continues his push toward breaking the record for most threes made off the bench in a season, his value to this team is only going up. Peyton Pritchard is proving that he's not just a role player, he's an essential piece of Boston's success. But then we can talk about KP. KP has only played in about half of Boston's games this season, but when he's on the floor, he's been elite. His impact is felt on both ends, and the numbers show just how valuable he's been. KP has brought a defensive presence the Celtics have needed, along with efficient scoring and strong rebounding. Even with his limited availability, his production has made a huge difference. On defense, KP ranks among the very best in the NBA. He's holding opponents to just 46.6% shooting on 2-point attempts. That ties him for 4th best in the league, alongside Jaren Jackson Jr., only Jalen Williams, Kevin Looney, and Peyton Watson have done better. When teams try to score inside against KP, they're running into one of the toughest defenders at the rim. KP also ranks 2nd in opponent field goal percentage in the paint from less than 10 feet, holding them to just 47% shooting. The only player ahead of him is Jaren Jackson Jr., who's at 46.8%. KP has been a dominant paint protector, and teams are struggling to score near the basket when he's out there. In fourth quarters, KP has been just as good defensively. His opponent, 2-point field goal percentage in the fourth quarter is 46%. That ranks him 4th in the league, trailing only Jaren Jackson Jr., Kevon Looney, and Peyton Watson. When the game is on the line, KP has been locking things down and making it tough for opponents to get easy buckets. KP overall mixed team defense ranking puts him higher than 88% of players in the league. He's averaging 1.6 blocks per game, along with 0.8 steals and 5.2 defensive rebounds. His team defensive efficiency is 112.7 when he's on the floor. He's helping Boston keep opponents in check every time he steps on the court. Rebounding has been another area where KP has made an impact. He's averaging 6.8 rebounds per game, with 5.2 coming on the defensive glass and 1.6 on the offensive boards. His offensive rebound percentage is 5.09%, which ranks higher than 74% of players. On defense, his rebound percentage is 16.58%, ranking higher than 86% of players. He's controlling the glass and limiting second chance opportunities for opponents. Offensively, KP has been just as efficient. He's averaging 18.9 points per game, ranking higher than 70% of play. His effective field goal percentage is 56.2%, which puts him above 75% of the league. He's scoring 1.1 points per field goal attempt, averaging 4 2-pointers made, 2.4 3-pointers made, and 13.6 total field goal attempts per game. KP true shooting percentage is 60%. That factors in his free throw shooting as well, giving a complete picture of his scoring efficiency. He's scoring 1.2 points per scoring attempt, with 18.9 points per game on 13.6 field goal attempts and 4.5 free throw attempts. That ranks him higher than 88% of players in the league. His usage rate this season is 25.3%. That means over a quarter of Boston's offensive plays are ending with KP taking a shot, getting to the free throw line, handing out an assist, or committing a turnover. He's averaging 13.6 field goal attempts, 4.5 free throw attempts, 1.9 assists, and 1.2 turnovers per game. His possessions played per game sit at 60.4. He's been heavily involved in the offense whenever he's available. KP has also brought efficiency to Boston's team offense. His offensive rating is 120.3, while his defensive rating is 112.7. That gives him a net rating of plus 9.2. When he's on the court, Boston is outscoring opponents by more than 9 points per 100 possessions. That ranks him higher than most players in the league and shows the type of two-way impact he's making. Even though he's missed time, KP has made his presence felt when it matters. His rim protection is elite, his rebounding is strong, and his ability to space the floor on offense gives Boston a unique weapon. His ability to knock down threes while defending the paint on the other end makes him a tough matchup for any team. KP has done a great job staying active without the ball, finding open looks in pick and pop situations and taking advantage of mismatches. His three-point shooting stretches defenses, and his size makes it difficult for defenders to contest his shots effectively. On defense, he's anchored the paint when Boston's needed him most. His ability to contest shots without fouling and rotate quickly has been a big part of Boston's success on that end. He's averaging 1.6 blocks per game, and his presence around the rim forces opponents to adjust their shots or settle for tougher looks. This season, KP has shown that when he's healthy and playing, he's one of the most impactful big men in the NBA. His balance of efficient scoring, floor spacing, rebounding, and elite rim protection has given Boston another dimension. Even though he's played in about half of the games so far, his numbers make it clear. He's been one of Boston's best players when he's available. The Celtics are a different team with KP on the floor. His defensive stats put him near the top of the league, and his offensive efficiency makes him a threat from everywhere on the court. KP has been elite this season, and when he plays, Boston is a tougher team to beat. And the same can be said about Jrue Holiday. Jrue Holiday has missed about 15 games so far this season, but when he's been in the lineup, he's made a huge difference for Boston. His combination of veteran leadership, efficient offense, and elite defense has added another layer to the Celtics roster. Every time he steps on the court, he's bringing something valuable, whether it's making plays in the clutch or locking down the opposing team's best guard. One of the biggest highlights of Jrue Holiday's season has been his performance in the clutch. He ranks 4th in the entire NBA in net rating in clutch situations, sitting at plus 18.1. The only players ahead of him are Sabonis, Nikola Jokic, and Jamal Murray. That means when games get tight, Holiday is one of the best in the league at making sure his team comes out on top. His ability to stay composed and make smart decisions in crunch time has been huge for Boston. His overall offensive rating this season is 114.9, while his defensive rating is 109.5. That gives him a net rating of plus 5.5. His presence on the floor consistently creates a positive margin for the Celtics, and his net rating ranks him higher than 65% of players in the league. Holiday's mixed teamwork score reflects this impact, showing how much he helps Boston on both ends of the floor. 62.5% of the games Holiday has played in have ended with a positive plus-minus. That means Boston is winning the minutes he's on the floor more often than not. And when you consider his on-off impact, it's easy to see why. His experience, decision-making, and defensive instincts are hard to replace. Defensively, Holiday is still one of the best guards in the league. His mixed team defense ranking places him higher than 87% of players. He's averaging 1 steal per game and adding 0.4 blocks, which is impressive for a guard. On the glass, he's grabbing 3.2 defensive rebounds per game, helping Boston close out possessions and keep opponents off the boards. The Celtics, a team defensive efficiency with Holiday on the floor is 109.5, which matches his personal defensive rating. His ability to disrupt passing lanes and pressure ball handlers gives Boston an edge every night. Holiday's usage rate is 15.8%. That shows he's not dominating the ball, but is instead playing within the flow of the offense. He's taking 9 field goal attempts per game, getting to the free throw line 1.3 times, handing out 3.6 assists, and committing just 1.4 turnovers per game. He's averaging 62.2 possessions per game, and he's making the most of those opportunities by playing unselfish basketball. Even with a lower usage rate, Holiday is still making an impact as a playmaker. He's averaging 3.6 assists per game, keeping the offense moving and finding teammates in the right spot. His assist numbers might not jump out, but they're efficient, and they come without many mistakes. Holiday's turnover numbers are low, and his decision-making is a big reason why Boston's offense runs smoothly when he's in the game. His defensive work has been a major key to Boston's success this season. He's taking on tough matchups night after night, and often guarding the opposing team's top perimeter player. His ability to navigate screens, stay in front of his man, and contest shots without fouling has helped Boston maintain one of the league's best team defenses. Holiday's clutch performances have been some of his best moments this season. Whether it's hitting big shots, making the right pass, or getting a key stop, he's been reliable when the game is on the line. His clutch net rating of plus 18.1 is proof of how valuable he's been in those moments. Boston can count on him to make winning plays when they matter most. Offensively, Holiday doesn't need a ton of touches to make an impact. He's efficient with his shot selection, taking good looks and not forcing anything. His scoring, passing, and ball handling have all been reliable, and his ability to stretch the floor helps open things up for Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and the rest of Boston's offense. Holiday's leadership has also shown through. He's a steady presence for a team that already has championship expectations, and his ability to stay calm under pressure has been a valuable asset. Whether he's running the offense, spacing the floor, or locking down on defense, Holiday is giving Boston exactly what they need. Even after missing about 15 games, Holiday's production has been steady. His offensive rating of 114.9 and defensive rating of 109.5 show his two-way value, and his net rating of plus 5.5 proves he's making Boston better every time he's on the floor. Jrue Holiday has done everything Boston hoped he would this season. His elite defense, efficient offense, and clutch performances have made him a huge part of their success. With his experience and all-around game, he's helped solidify the Celtics as one of the best teams in the league. When he's healthy and playing, Holiday's value is undeniable. But lastly, I want to talk about Derek White. Derek White has been one of Boston's most reliable and impactful players this season. He's showing up on both ends of the floor, knocking down shots, playing elite defense, and making winning plays every time he steps on the court. His versatility and efficiency have made him a huge piece of Boston's success, and the numbers back it up in every way. On defense, White has been locking up shooters at an elite level. Opponents are shooting just 30.9% from three-point range when defended by him. That's the fourth best mark in the entire league. Only Miles Bridges, Naz Reid, and Nikola Vucevic have been better at defending the three. White's ability to close out under control and contest shots without fouling has made life tough for opposing perimeter players all season. Offensively, White's been just as efficient. Since the All-Star break, he's shooting 51.4% from three-point range. That ranks him third in the NBA behind Tyrese Halliburton and Jamal Murray. He's been deadly from deep, and his shooting has helped stretch the floor for Boston's offense. When defenses sag off to help on Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown, White makes them pay. In the clutch, he's been even better. White leads the entire league in clutch three-point percentage, knocking down 61.9% of his shots from deep in those moments. The next closest players are Malik Beasley and CJ McCollum, and they aren't even close. White's calm under pressure and ability to hit big shots have given Boston another reliable option in late-game situations. White's scoring has been consistent all year. He's averaging 16.5 points per game, ranking him higher than 80% of players in the league. His effective field goal percentage is 58.5%, placing him above 81% of players. He's scoring 1.2 points per field goal attempt, with an average of 2.1 two-pointers made, 3.5 three-pointers made, and 12.6 field goal attempts per game. His true shooting percentage is 61%. That takes into account field goals, three-pointers, and free throws, giving a full picture of his efficiency. White is scoring 16.5 points on 12.6 shot attempts and 2.1 free throw attempts per game. That puts him ahead of 98% of players in terms of scoring efficiency. White's mixed teamwork rating ranks him higher than 85% of players. His offensive rating is 119.8, and his defensive rating is 110.7. That gives him a net rating of plus 9.2. He's making Boston better on both ends, and his presence creates a positive margin every time he steps on the floor. 70.5% of White's games this season have ended with a positive plus-minus. That means Boston is outscoring opponents in over 70% of the minutes he plays. His on-off rating shows the Celtics are plus 4.3 points better when he's on the court compared to when he's off. That ranks him ahead of 88% of players in the league. His consistency and two-way impact have made him one of Boston's most important players. White's defense has been strong all season. His mixed team defense rating ranks him higher than 88% of players. He's averaging 0.9 steals, 1 block, and 3.4 defensive rebounds per game. His ability to guard multiple positions, contest shots, and rotate quickly has been a huge part of Boston's success on defense. The Celtics team defensive efficiency with White on the floor is 110.7, which matches his personal defensive rating. On offense, White's usage rate is 19.6%. That means nearly 20% of Boston's offensive plays, and with him taking a shot, getting to the line, handing out an assist, or committing a turnover, he's averaging 12.6 field goal attempts, 2.1 free throw attempts, 4.3 assists, and 1.6 turnovers per game. He's playing 68.5 possessions a night and making the most of everyone. White's assist numbers show how much he's helping to keep Boston's offense moving. He's averaging 4.3 assists per game, setting up teammates and making smart passes. His ability to make the extra pass and keep the ball moving has been key for the Celtics' ball movement and spacing. And he's doing it without turning the ball over much, which keeps Boston's offense efficient and effective. Derek White's defense has stood out, especially when it comes to closing out on shooters. His defensive three-point percentage allowed is elite, and he's often taking on tough assignments while still managing to contribute on the offensive end. His 1 block per game also shows how willing he is to protect the rim, even as a guard. His leadership on both ends has helped solidify Boston as one of the league's best teams. White's ability to play both guard spots, defend multiple positions, and space the floor gives Boston incredible flexibility. And his clutch shooting has given them another dependable option late in games. With his scoring efficiency, defense, and ability to step up in big moments, Derek White has been one of Boston's best two-way players this season. Whether it's locking down on the perimeter, hitting a clutch three, or making a key pass, he's delivering in every role the Celtics need. If you guys enjoyed this, I'll be posting every day during this season. I'd genuinely appreciate if you could subscribe. Thanks for watching.